What is going on, everybody? We are back again for another No Limits Rapid Fire, where we do rapid fire features, rapid fire fun, rapid fire coaching, and rapid fire content. And we just get to come together and feature some incredible people, have incredible conversations, and find ways for our truths, other people's truths, to elevate and empower you to be able to live yours. Everything that we talk about relates to the human experience, our relationships, our connections, our personal lives, our health, mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally, our businesses, our amplification, our connections, the activities we get paid for, the activities we don't get paid for. The reality of it is everything on Rapid Fire is about how to help you see yourself more clearly so you can move faster with less effort in business and in life, to be authentically aligned with who you are at the core, understanding who you are, who you're doing this for, who you're doing this with, and who you're going to impact. And I am really excited today for our guest. This is an individual who I've gotten to know over the course of the last couple of years. We met during COVID, through the podcasting game, through a curated conversation, and through a connection that we immediately both felt. This is an individual who I've had the chance to be able to help mentor. We've developed a friendship, and it's now led into places where we also are business partners and looking for ways to create collective impact together. His story, his heart, his vision, his mission, his impact all bleeds from a place of heart, all bleeds from a place of absolute impact. And so without further ado, I'd like to bring Aaron Golub up to join us so that we can let you experience him in all of his glory. What's up, brother, man?
Brian, what's up, man? How are you doing?
I'm fantastic. How are you?
I'm good. Busy day, busy week, a lot going on, but excited to be here with you.
Well, dude, I love it. You know, I know lots of bits about the way that you've moved through the world, the way that you've amplified yourself, the way that you're shifting and creating impact. But I don't want to tell your story for you. I want you to tell your story. So could you let everybody know who you are beyond the descriptors I already gave on who you are to me?
So quick background, my name's Aaron Golub. I'm legally blind, no vision in my right eye, very limited in my left. Played football at Tulane University, becoming the first legally blind Division I athlete to play in a game. Was named team captain my senior year, went on to become an NFL free agent. After school, went to the world of speaking, went into the corporate world as well in finance. Ended up loving speaking, loving entrepreneurship, exited the corporate world similar, to how you did, Brian. And now I'm a full-time entrepreneur and speaker, building businesses and, enjoying every second of it.
I absolutely love that. When I first met you, though you knew that speaking was in your path, you knew it was your future. It wasn't something that seemed as if it was within reach. Yet the more you did it, the more connected you felt to it, the more impact it felt like was flowing through you. So could you talk to me a little bit about like your entry point into speaking officially? And when did you really start taking it seriously? Because I saw a big shift in you in the last 2 years.
So I've always done speaking. Senior year of high school, I was on Good Morning America when I committed to play at Tulane. I had a lot of national press about me. I spoke in college at different events when my coaches asked me to for free and things like that. And I got experience that way. And I'm thankful for that. But it wasn't something that I took seriously or even thought I was going to do. I graduated college, went to the world of finance, didn't do any speaking. 2019, I had, a year out of college, left the job that I was in. I wasn't a good fit in Washington, D.C., a different area in the financial industry, moved to a different financial firm in Boston, Massachusetts, was there for a few months and loving what I was doing, decided that, I wanted to make more of an impact, help more people, create another business, do something for myself. Started speaking, probably more seriously a little bit, second half of 2019, figuring out what to do. And at that point, it wasn't, getting paid to speak by any means. It was, how do I start this? And so I was doing speeches for free, going on podcasts, figuring out what I could do to get better just a little bit each and every day. 2020 rolled around, COVID hit. Most people's speaking businesses got demolished.
Mine too, right out of the gate.
I used it as an opportunity to say, what can I do to improve myself over the next couple of years? So when I come out of COVID, I'm a household name. And, I'm nowhere near that yet. But at the same time, I used it during COVID, I did 8 TED Talks. I started getting paid in small amounts to speak, and that gradually increased over time to the point now that it's insane. I mean, I talk to you most days at this point, and I'm like, hey, what do you think of X, Y, and Z? And the amount that I make from it is, I would have thought was absurd 3 years ago. And being able to do that has just developed over time. I figured out, I took a situation saying, how do I create a business? How do I get booked and paid to speak? I worked on developing my speeches. First off, huge shout out to a mutual friend of ours is Jeff Lopes, who, he was the one who helped me create the strategy to book all of my TED Talks. Without him, so many mentors like you and like him that have helped me along the way. And both of you have been insanely massive parts of my life and business. But it was about figuring out the best way to get in front of these organizations, these companies, doing cold outreach and just doing it at scale. And that's what I was able to do. And now I'm building a business around that to, grow what we're doing for myself and others even more with your help and with other people's help. It's been an amazing past few years.
So one of the things that I've always felt from you is your heart. The second I met you, I felt it. It was clear, it was connected, it was open. And I guess I'm going to ask a little bit of permission because we are live and this is a show that goes out there. Do you trust me to kind of take you down a path real fast?
Yeah, man. Anything you want.
What I think is really fascinating with you, and I've really enjoyed watching, and this is a big testament to you. One of the first things that you and I talked about a little bit was where you were a little bit guarded and where some of your armor came, which made complete sense, but that your heart was what I knew was going to connect and lead. And what I really love is that as you've intentionally gone through this path of not only creating a pathway for impact for yourself in multiple different businesses, but I feel like by doing that, you've also gone through this process of understanding who you are at a deeper level, what's actually aligned for you at a deeper level, which obviously at an even earlier age than I did, put you into a position to take a leap of faith to invest in you and what you knew you were capable of. Yeah. And so what I'm curious about for you, because look, your story is incredible. The adversity that you face is incredible. And I love the intentionality with even your podcast being called Blind Ambition, the way that you operate, the way that you just show up in the world, and you always show up. So what I'm really curious about is objectively people say, oh yeah, Aaron's had all this adversity, he's overcome it, he's done all these things. So of course, this is a natural evolution and path. But I also know these last couple of years took a lot of intentional work for you. Could you share some of the shifts that you made internally that are externally now manifesting through your ability to be paid at the level that you want for the gift that you have and sharing your words, your story, but also with your ability to connect and build businesses that are impact driven first?
Yeah. I think there's a handful of things there, and I'm still learning every day. I'm still a very young entrepreneur, but the past 3 or so years, shifting from a full-time corporate employee to now full-time entrepreneurship, I've learned so much. And the number one biggest thing is I've surrounded myself with key mentors. You, Jeff, some of my other close friends and mentors who have been in this game a lot longer than I have, and I've learned from them. And I understand that I don't know everything, and I'm trying to learn more. And I think that's something that is definitely one area. Is over time I've learned that, hey, it's okay that I don't know what I'm doing, most of the time, and I have to ask for help and I have to figure that out. And I think 3 years ago, I probably wasn't as good as that. I probably wanted to try and figure it out on my own, and that's not the right way to go about it. And so trial and error is definitely a huge part of that. And for me, back then especially, one of my focuses at the time, candidly, was how do I make money? And my focus was, I want to make money speaking, or I want to make money with this business because, I was doing fine in finance, but I wanted to supplement that income and I wanted to, just make more money. And that's totally fine. And having a focus or having one of your priorities on making money is 100% important.
Yeah.
But one of the things I've learned is like, that just can't be the number one reason you're doing things. It can be the number 2 or the number 3. And it's probably the number 2 in most of my businesses, but it's not the number 1. The number 1 has to be something that truly means something to you. And for me, it's, how can I impact others with what I'm doing? And every single one of my businesses now are aligned in that way. My main business, and then the others, that I have, smaller partnerships in, one with you and one with another friend of mine. But it's surrounded around creating collective impact. Yeah. And the second that you make that switch from, I need to make $5,000 this month, I need to make $10,000, I need to get to 15,000, whatever it is, then it becomes a lot easier because you're not in a hurry to get there. You're not setting a timeline on yourself. And it just makes it so much simpler.
Yeah. I love how you said that. That's obviously one of the reasons that we're aligned. I mean, my whole philosophy on who before what and people before profits. And a lot of the same reasons. It's because it was driven from the fact that I chased the what. I chased the profit as my sole number 1. And really it cost me so much more than I ever realized over the course of that following decade. And so again, I never vilify money. I've made a lot of it. I plan to make a lot more of it because money is a tool. It's a vehicle. It's an energy. It's a way to amplify impact through the world. However, it is not my number 1 at this point. Impact is. And what I realize is the more I seek impact, the more income follows. And this is something that you and I both share. I talk a lot about the lenses with which we view the world through and how those can often shape what we see, feel, think, absorb, and just operate and process through. And I've never asked you this question, and I'm sure that you've been asked this question in a variety of different ways, but I'm really curious. Your lens is a unique one, as is all of ours, right? Your lens actually limits your ability to receive some of the same information at the same rate that we would for processing vision, right? But I don't think that in any way your lens has impacted any part of your world from a negative place because of how you've learned to move through it. There's limitations, there's hurdles, but what I'm really curious about is if you had to describe how your lens and how you viewed the world because of your situation, because of your past, how would you say that your lens has affected you, your path, and your life?
You can look at a situation, a challenge, and adversity as either a positive or negative. You can look at it as a disadvantage or an advantage. And the thing for me is I've realized that if I wasn't legally blind, I wouldn't have played Division I football probably, because I probably would have tried to have been a quarterback or a receiver. Who knows? I might have been great. I have no idea. But at the same time, there would have been a lot more competition. I don't know if I would have made it there. I wouldn't have probably gone the same angles I've been going with speaking and with entrepreneurship. Therefore, I wouldn't have built relationships with you, with Jeff, with so many other people. And because of that, I'm so thankful. Being legally blind is the greatest thing that's ever happened to me. I'm so blessed and thankful that it happened to me, because if it didn't happen, I wouldn't know the people I know. I wouldn't have had the experience I have. I wouldn't be in the businesses I'm in. My life would be 100% different. But 99.9% of people have a challenge and they see it as a challenge. And if you can make that perspective shift, that mindset shift to realize, like, why is this happening for me? What can I learn from this experience? How can I grow from it? Your life becomes happier, becomes better, becomes more fulfilled, and you can do so much more with it.
So I obviously love that answer. I expected it to go down that path. And beautifully stated by you. Again, another area that you and I are aligned. Obviously, one of our core philosophies is I learn not to get stuck by the things that have happened to me, but instead get moved by what I can do with them. I see you move through these things every single day. And I love the humility, the compassion, and what you also articulated is the value of the who's in our world beyond just you, right? Who are you doing this for? Who are you doing this with? And who are you going to impact? And so what I heard from you is that your lens actually helped shape a view of the world and a path that led to a deeper level of connection for you than you believe you would have experienced otherwise. It puts you into arenas with who you can do this with, as well as who you're going to impact. And so one of the things that I've always appreciated about you as well is, despite the fact that you've said, yeah, I chased money because I wanted to focus on it. Yeah, I did this. You, especially at an early age, and I say early age, not as a shame factor, as a grace factor and absolute pride factor, because I love when I see people who have wisdom beyond their years and are able to apply it. You also talked about, and you kind of brushed over it from a position of humility, how frequently you have put yourself in a position to ask for help from those that have done things before you, that are further along from you. And I've said for a long time, right? Like, I'm only as good as my questions, right? And you ask a lot of questions. You're actually somebody that I've like willingly mentored just because I want to invest in who you are, because I see the potential for who you are in terms of the impact, but I'm so deeply connected to it. But you show up humble. You show up open. You show up ready to receive. When in your life did that shift take place that you realized the power of asking for help and allowing yourself to receive?
I think realizing that the people I'm surrounding myself with are, who I want to be. I look at you, I look at Jeff, I look at David Meltzer, people that, we're both friends with, we both know. And how do I get to where you guys are? You guys have built, much bigger, audiences. You've built, you've made more money. You have, amazing relationships, like all things that I want within my life. I've made some money. I do want to make a lot more. I have an awesome relationship, but I have a long way to go in so many areas of my life. And so if I can ask you consistent questions, if I can ask Jeff consistent questions, if I can ask David, questions when I'm able to, and so many other people like that, then I'll learn from their experiences. I'll learn from your experiences, and I'll be able to implement that into my life. So many people think that asking for help is a weakness. It's really a strength. So many people think that, you can't ask for help. And, I'll be completely clear. There's a lot of people out there that I probably won't ask questions to at the same level I ask people like you and Jeff questions to, and it's just part of it depends on my relationship with them. Like, I mean, after going on David's podcast, I think if I reached out to him for anything, he'd help me in any way, but I'm also not that close with him. So I'm not going to ask him a question once a week. It's just not going to happen. Whereas you and Jeff, I feel comfortable with that too, because I know we've built that friendship and that relationship. And it goes vice versa at the same time too. I say it to people all the time. If I see something in you and you actually reach out to me, and I say this on podcasts, I say it on my speeches, email me, aaron@aarongolub.com. If I can help you in any way, any shape, any form, I'm happy to do so. Most people don't reach out for help. And so the point is, when you actually do, I think a lot more people are willing to help you than you think they are.
So I think that that's also, again, another little glimmer of wisdom, is so often we are conditioned to believe that we can't ask for help because we're afraid of either rejection, someone not saying yes, or someone, rejecting us or making us feel judged for asking. We might feel bad about it. That's interesting, because there are places in myself that I used to hesitate asking for help because I was guarding myself. Right. And what you just even hit on is one of the reasons too that you continue to thrive and grow is not only do you always show up, you're also very intentional with how you show up and where you show up and how consistently you show up. And when you show up, you also show up open, ready to ask questions and ready to learn, because what you've realized is, yes, you have a unique story, but all of us do. And what you're trying to do is to be able to communicate the lessons you've extracted from your stories and put intentionality in how you apply that in your life, and do that in a way that empowers other people to shorten their own curve to learning from what you've experienced. You do a really phenomenal job at that. And I just always appreciate, so I wanted to commend you on that, because that's something that I have a deep level of respect for you in. It's something that, yes, bro, I have people that I'm still asking a gazillion questions to myself as well. I'm so far from where I want to be and the level of impact that I want to have. But I do believe that what you said early on, and you've heard me say often, collective impact is truly where it's at. Yeah. And when we do this together, when we're aligned and we are very clear on these things, it's incredible the power that can kind of come from it. I'm pretty excited about some of the stuff that's developing around you and through you in your businesses. Some stuff I'm involved in, some other things that I'm not involved in. But I would love it if you could kind of talk a little bit to the world about some of the things that you're working on and what you're building that's going to create a really unique avenue for impact.
Yeah. So my number one main business that you are involved with to a degree is called Initiate Connections. And the point of that is, I realized for myself, speaking is awesome. And there's two factors. A, if I bring in other people to speak, we can create more impact. B, in order to make the level of income that I want to make, I would have to travel 365 days a year. And I have no interest in doing that. That would be harmful for my health, for my relationships, for everything. And realize that, okay, how do we scale this to a level that we can create an incredible, impactful, and a profitable company? And so we have three kind of areas to it, workshops, consulting, and speaking. And on the workshops and consulting, we really focus on diving in with organizations, with companies, with teams on different areas. And just to name a few, some of them are, overcoming obstacles, high performance and business growth, leadership development, diversity and inclusion, things like that. And going through those, whether it be on a full day or 2 day or week long basis for a workshop, or maybe a 6 month, 12-month consulting contract to really work with these companies. And within those, it's not just me and you, speaking and talking to them. It's bringing in other athletes, other executives, other entrepreneurs, people from different walks of life who fit into our mold that can really add the value needed in certain instances within those consulting agreements and workshops. Outside of that, if someone wants a one-time speaker, a one-time keynote, and I might not be the right fit, you might not be the right fit, we have the ability to work with a handful of partners to place them into where might be the right fit, whoever that might be. And at least for the time being, we're not working with that many speakers because we only want it to be a select group of people who not only do we have relationships with, but we fully trust are going to deliver the absolute highest quality of impact in the areas that we're choosing to focus on. And that's really the main company. That's the main business. I'm involved with one of yours. I don't know if you're kind of being public about that now, so I'm not going to mention that.
PodCon is public. We're still in beta mode, but we recently had a shift with some of our partnerships, and Aaron was able to fill a gap and a void that allowed us to really focus on creating some systems and processes to help us scale that beyond where it was today. And so we're really excited to have you involved in that. So
yeah, but I'm looking forward to that as well. But like I said, the main one is initiate connections, and we're in the process of getting that all off the ground, and everything will hopefully be live, later this month, and really looking forward to getting it out there and creating more impact with you and other speakers outside of just myself.
What I really appreciate about the way that you approach this is, though it is, on one hand, you being very clear on the lifestyle that you want, what relationships you want, and setting very healthy boundaries around the travel schedule and willingness to be able to invest in certain ways. Like, I get objectively that is part of your reason. It is a big part of your reason. However, I also want to highlight on the humility side that I know you will not, the fact that you recognize this is bigger than you. Yep. And what I know in every single time that I've ever spent working with you is you lead with heart and impact first. And you recognize that you want to get it right. You don't care about being right. The amount of times you've called me in to be able to help counsel, or the things that you'll run by me, or the moments that you try to bring me into opportunities because you feel like there's a gap in what you can deliver, is your recognition and understanding that, just like I have, the billion lives that we're chasing to impact is not going to happen through me and because of Brian Bogert's name, right? It's going to be through the relationships and the connections, and recognizing it's bigger than every single one of us. And so what I appreciate is that you're building a platform to bring some of the best thought leaders in every single industry together in a way that we can concisely add unique value into the corporate space and marketplace by leading training, development, and awareness moments to guide their teams down paths that a traditional, just singular speaker may or may not be able to facilitate. You're creating a collective and an opportunity for us to be proactive in creating experiences for organizations versus being reactive to their needs and a speaker on a topic. And Absolutely. So far, the early indications and conversation are really hopeful. And so I'm excited to be on this path with you, brother. I know the impact is inevitable.
Likewise, it's something I'm really looking forward to. I think it's going to allow all of the speakers, including myself, to show up better as well. It's speaking on, the first part that you mentioned also, the travel part and the lifestyle part. Like, most people don't know this, but the past 9 months, not only have I been traveling to speak speeches, but I've been traveling between Boston and California.
Yep.
All the time, a ridiculous amount. And it's been so worth it for me because of a relationship there. And it's been amazing. And I'm actually moving to California in a few weeks from now, and I'm looking forward to it. So my life will get a lot easier. But, the past 9 months have been hard on me. It's been very hard for travel wise, for, physical wise. It's just when you travel that often and that far distance, it's never easy. And so realizing that is an obstacle and a barrier for scale will allow all of these speakers to be slotted in in the right areas at the right times, and you're not doing 30 speeches a month. You're doing where you can actually fit in and create the most impact, because maybe, I realize, hey, look, next month I already have X number and I can't do these few because it won't be of value to myself. But most importantly, I won't be able to create the impact that I need to create because I'm going to be way too tired.
That's right. I mean, here's the thing. You realize very early you can't pour from an empty cup. And so you're trying to make sure that you maintain and continue to fill yours. You talk about different obstacles. You talk about different challenges. I'm really curious. What do you believe at this moment for you personally, whether it's in your personal life, your health, or your business, is your greatest blocker right now that is your intentional focus to continue to neutralize, diffuse, or remove the interference or resistance or energy drain that it might be creating?
Yeah, I think that's a really good question. There's so many different adversities that we face every single day. And I think everyone, is afraid of the unknown. I built a business for myself speaking, but outside of that, I, haven't built other businesses. And I think it's always scary, especially, I left the world of, a paycheck, about a month ago at this point, a little over a month ago. And so figuring out, how do I build this business? Because yes, I want to create impact, but don't get me wrong. I want to build an 8-9 figure company and I'm looking forward to it. And so
income is important to create impact. Like, let's be clear.
How do I get this from, 0 to 7 figures? How do I get it from 7 to 8 eventually? And it's just something I haven't done before. And that's why I'm relying on other people, but it's a scary process, a scary time when you no longer have a job. And, yes, I make money speaking, but I'm trying to build a company to support myself, to support my team, and to support everyone around me.
So for someone who's consistently had to navigate life uniquely, I'm really curious, how do you identify and move through fear? Because what I know is that you don't just shut it off. So help me understand how you process fear, hesitation, and resistance. And then I know we've got to wrap up here in a couple of minutes because we've got another meeting here in about 5. So
yeah, I embrace it. I go full into it because what I realize is, yes, that's scary. It's a scary time. It's a scary process for everything from me right now. But I've realized that if I ask the right questions to the right people, if I learn the best I can, and if I try and fail and try and fail and try and fail, I'll eventually get it right. And you know what? The end is secure. I'll figure it out. It does not matter what the challenge is. If I keep trying and I keep failing and I keep changing my approach, I'll eventually build that company and create that impact that I want to create. But it's about taking that first step. And if you don't jump into fear and embrace it, you'll never accomplish your goals.
What I really appreciate about you, and I love the intentionality you have into the name of your podcast, right? Blind ambition. But what I think is really interesting, my friend, is I don't think that any of your ambition is blind. It never has been. It's been totally, absolutely vision and focused. And so there's an element of this where I think it's really interesting because truly, I think it's vision ambition for you, even more than blind ambition. You've actually allowed yourself to have such a clear path for who you want to be, who you want to impact, and how you want to live your life, that your ambition has been driven from such a deep level, regardless of the play on words with the blindness. I would tell you that you are anything but blind. You are aware, you are awake, and you see way more than many people in their own unique situations. And so though the play on words is really fitting, again, I think it's vision ambition for you, bro. And I'm just, it's been a pleasure to get to know you, watch you. And I know that you're just getting started.
Likewise. And I appreciate that. Thank you so much for having me here today. I'm looking forward to everything that we're building together and the impact we're able to create.
Where can people find you? Where can they follow you if they want to engage directly?
Yeah, so social media, Instagram and Twitter at Aaron J. Golub. I'm on LinkedIn as Aaron Golub, and then my website, aarongolub.com, and my email is aaron@aarongolub.com. Like I said before, reach out if I can help in any way. Always happy to. I will get back to you, and please do.
Well, brother man, thank you so much for being with us, and we'll talk soon, okay?
Sounds good. Have a great day.
You too, brother. All right, so we are totally blessed to be able to get individuals like Aaron in our world. He's very humble. He's very giving. He's very downplaying of even how much he shows up. And I just am always, always inspired by, and in particular, young talent that's super connected, super focused, and super moving through the world. Because Aaron is one who will create a ripple effect. Aaron is and will be a part of the collective impact of 1 billion lives. He's already been doing it at a massive scale already. And so we are going to continue to bring different types of features. One of the things that I'll say for anybody who watches this show is if you have questions, if you have coaching questions, if you have content ideas, if you have areas of fun that you'd like to have with us, by all means, please shoot us a DM and let us know. We are here for you. We're going to continue to show up for you, and we're going to continue to invest in this path to create connections and opportunities for every single one of you to move. We've got some really exciting guests coming up here in the very near future. We'll be announcing what some of those look like. But one thing that I'm also very excited about is Office Hours premiere this week. So my good friend David Meltzer, who we just talked about a little while ago, he has his Office Hours show multiple seasons in now on Apple TV, on Bloomberg, on Prime. And the reality of it is streaming, it's creating impact, and it's around some of the most incredible individuals that I have interacted with. I had a chance to be a guest on his show. I also got a chance to be a host on his show and have some really incredible conversations. And the 5th, this week, Friday, is when my guest episode goes live. So if you'd like to see what we're collectively building, that's another place to tune in. But please shoot us a text, shoot us an email, shoot us a DM if there's anything we can do to add value into your world. You'll see right here the link below, nolimitsprelude.com. That is our free course. We've continued to evolve it through beta. It continues to evolve. We've had hundreds of people go through it, both formally coached and ones that are doing it on their own. And we are in a position right now where we want to continue to make sure that you know this is a pathway for you to invest in you with no pressure, no systems, no gaming, no scamming. The reality of it is, yes, we get your email in exchange. Yes, you get a handful of emails. And yes, you absolutely get 3 or 4 emails from us at the end to outline opportunities to engage further. But I want to be really clear. This is not something I want you purchasing unless it moves you, unless it gives you something of value, unless it brings a light and awareness, a clarity into your world. But understand the structures and intentional alignment that you build for yourself is how you're going to demonstrate who you are to the world based on your actions and how you move. So if you need to get further aligned on who you are, who you're doing this for, who you're doing this with, or who you're going to impact, you need to understand how to begin with the end in mind, understand your multi-year vision, your annual priorities, your quarterly emphasis, and to really clear out the noise so that you can have intentional alignment and you know that your life is built with self-regulation. Check out nolimitsprelude.com. We are here for you. And if you have any interest in becoming a part of a community that has a safe space, a safe container to talk through the challenges in business and life, we had some very incredible transformational breakthroughs in our coaching call last week. And I'm really grateful for those of you that showed up for that. So anything we can do to add value into your world, we are here to elevate and empower and create impact for 1 billion lives as quickly as possible. Hopefully you'll be one of them, and hopefully you'll be one of them that moves to help impact more people. Until next time, be great and be you.